Hi everyone, welcome. It's a big house. I've got lots of guests here on Zoom. And to those who are joining in from Facebook, welcome guys. It's a Saturday afternoon, it's the 7th of August, and I'm excited to be here and to be the host of Join the Conversation. I'm transformation coach Mashudu Mbele. I'm also a negative emotional therapy practitioner. And let me just introduce you to what Join the Conversation is all about. It's about getting messages, having conversations with different women from all walks of life where they inspire us, where they empower us, where they share their life lessons. Because I believe that everyone's story can heal you. So everyone has got a story for someone else. And to those who will be tuning in as well through Facebook, through Zoom, through YouTube. So if you've got questions for our guests, please type them through. We'll come back and respond to them. So coming back to join the conversation, as I said, is about inspiring and empowering others. Currently, with what is happening in our world, in our country, the past year up to now has been challenging than ever. And it's a time that we stand up and we do something about it. And being Women's Month, Happy Women's Month, this is an opportunity to bring forth different women from all walks of life to inspire you, to motivate you. And from the messages, you might be doing something about it. And you might be in a bad place and you're saying, like, your problem is so big enough, you don't know what to do. And I believe these conversations will plant a seed for you to do something about it. And if you want to participate, please comment. I welcome anyone who would like to participate. So it's not about who's who, it's about you. If you feel something deep inside your heart saying, I want to go and share and transform a life, so do participate. I'll be excited. And you might be anywhere where you are. You don't have to do Zoom sessions. You can do this as well. You can start joining the conversations wherever you are, in your small clubs, in the villages, wherever you are. But just create those conversations, because we need to heal, and it starts with us. And this afternoon, I'm joined by Gugu Zwane. I'm excited to have this conversation with her. And throughout the session, do ask questions. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. So let me call on my guest. Let her introduce herself. Let her tell us who is she.
Good afternoon, Ntieni. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, Mashudu. I see that you prefer that these days. Thank you again for this opportunity to share with other women on Women's Month. Like I said earlier, it won't be as long as last year's. Yeah, for this reason or the other. But I'm Gugu Zwane, just to introduce myself. I live in Johannesburg. I'm a mother of three. I'm a professional lady as well. There's a lot that one has to balance. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I would also encourage those that didn't see the clip last year to revisit it. I won't be repeating what we spoke about, one or two things to emphasize on. So yeah, that is me. My connection, it's saying on the screen that it's not stable. So you let me know if at some point you lose me. Okay then, back to you, thanks.
Thank you for the introduction. And as she said, the last year's recording, it was saved on YouTube. I'll also share the link, and we'll also share the Facebook post as well. So be empowered. So yes, and welcome once again to those who have just joined us. And let me just check on Facebook how many people we have. Okay, we've we've got Martha and we've got Francine. Welcome, ladies. If you've got any questions for our guest, do type them in. I'll ask those questions on your behalf as well. And do share this post as well as we are going through this conversation. So my question is, what is the message that you have for us this Women's Month?
Thank you, Zwane. I think nothing much has changed in terms of sharing what I shared last year. I would just go quickly through those nuggets which we had taken, which was your be in tune with your intuition, embrace your solitude, look for the positive in every situation, value sisterhood, embrace your gift as a woman, especially in leadership, invest in yourself, heal and forgive yourself, let go of stuff that doesn't serve you, sharing of information, reevaluate yourself time and again, be authentic, change the narrative as women, especially on issues that have become so judgmental in our society. Learn from your kids, be nice, it takes nothing from you, and that we need each other. Life happens, we should embrace it. And also alignment to values was important. So that was from last year. As I said, I would encourage those that would not be part of it to go back. If I could share it as well via WhatsApp if you request it. And then for this year, I have taken from those nuggets which I've just shared. I think considering what we've been going through with COVID, when we spoke the last time, I don't know, there's a screen, the screen is showing Zandile other than showing Ntsieni. I'm not sure what the cause of that is.
Okay, let me just change here to show
Yeah,
the speaker.
yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, thank you. So considering everything that we've been going through, especially around the pandemic, it's been quite a roller coaster of a year emotionally. For me, I found that I would have times where I was quite positive, and I would have times where I was like, I wonder where this is going. It's even worse for those that were impacted with losses of whatever, job losses, death, sicknesses. There are people that have gone through severe sicknesses, the bad economic state of our country, social issues, they seem to be getting worse than better. But I think most of us were also quite broken by the recent looting and the destruction of the infrastructure, where literally some of us shared our heartbreaks. But then out of all this, one discovers that there's so much noise about what is right and what is wrong, about the COVID itself. Where is it coming from? We're still debating that even now. There's debates about vaccines, whether they are good for us, what is the government trying to do, and everything else. So I thought to myself, it's quite important as we get these messages and all this noise to be authentic as a person. Know who you are, standing your ground, because as mothers, we are finding that there are lots of questions that we have to respond to from our kids, especially around what is happening, trying to make sense of it, even if us ourselves have no clue of what is going on. We can have an idea, but it doesn't necessarily mean we have all the answers. So for me, I thought this is a time where we need to be talking about things that are quite uncomfortable. It's values at home that I had said even last year, but then the moral regeneration, where does it start? How do we rebuild as society? How do we encourage moral regeneration, starting from the family values? How do we get together as communities? I don't think I have the answers yet, but it is things that I would like us as women to start thinking about and really considering the influence that we have in communities. Women have always been influential. Women have always done your Thursday, Ulwesinelo Mama, where they pray together. And we know the barriers that have been broken over time because of that. So I don't think I necessarily have the answers, but it's things to start thinking about and also encouraging and still pushing the younger generation that when you're authentic, you don't find yourself in situations where you can be influenced by other people, including things that we've seen where people are involved in destruction because they are part of the mob without necessarily thinking of the consequences. So for me, that was one of the things that just stood out, that it's quite important that we really embrace who we are so that we are not shaken easily, considering the noise that is going on, which emotionally can really be tough even for people who are considered to be strong ordinarily. And then the second nugget that I took was that life happens.
Can I just ask,
We should.
before you go to the second nugget, I see there's a hand from Zandile.
Okay.
Zandile, you can go ahead.
Hello,
Hi, Zandile.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we
Sorry,
can.
yeah, I just heard that Gugu said she was seeing my name on the screen. I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm not really used to the Zoom meetings. So if I don't contribute, oh, now I can talk. I guess I can talk now. I can do later. But I just wanted to just make sure that there's nothing that I'm disturbing whilst Gugu is talking.
Okay, no, that's
If
fine. I'll mute you if I hear any noises. So I do have
please, thank
control
you.
to mute anyone. Okay, thank you for
Thanks.
coming through and everyone who has joined the
Hello,
Zoom.
ladies. Sorry. Hi, ladies.
Hi, I'm Go.
Hello, Zandile.
Okay, there's another question here before we go to your second nugget. It's from Facebook. It's from Francine. She's saying, being an empowering woman, what has been one of your biggest challenges and how do you overcome it and continue inspiring others?
The biggest challenge that I'm experiencing even now is for people to understand that being a woman in leadership and going about it in a feminine manner, which I also shared last time, it's okay. We are not supposed to embrace the masculinity of men in the leadership space that we find ourselves in. You are a woman for a reason. I'm currently dealing with that in my current job, where the belief is that just because you portray these qualities of being a woman, you are weak. It's not necessarily people thinking that, but it's trying to influence other women that don't be this hard-shelled woman. You are a woman for a reason. God created us to be soft for a reason, to be empathetic for a reason. It doesn't help to be in a situation where everybody is scared of you everything is by the rules, but everybody is not happy. It's not a happy environment. So that's one of the biggest challenges, I think, as women. We need to constantly remind ourselves that we are women for a reason. You can still wear your black suit, even pants if you want with the tie, but don't lose that femininity of being a woman. In terms of inspiring, it's not easy, especially when you are trying to influence other senior people within an organization. But I also always say, take it one step at a time. One person that you change, even if it's more than a year that it takes, you would have done something in terms of influencing. I hope that covers it for Francine.
Thank you, Francine. Let us know if the question has been responded to. I think you can go to your second nugget while she's busy giving us a response.
My second nugget is life happens and that we should embrace it. I also go back again to the recent unrests, which were quite heartbreaking. And I think for a night or two, many of us as concerned South African citizens were saying, what next? Is there still good in people? There was panic, anxiety from there. There were threats that people are gonna come and now attack houses, protecting suburbs. It's nothing that I really wish we would not go through again. But at the same time, it has happened, then what? I think I was encouraged by the fact that after a few days, people started sharing on Facebook and other social media platforms about rebuilding, helping each other, things that bring hope. And for me, it was like, okay, there's still hope. It's negative, it hurts, but we should embrace the fact that this maybe out of it also came out the South African, the South African that would always be there for one another as citizens. And the other thing that I started thinking about was being realistic about when such things happen. They could happen to me as a mom, a single mom that had certain plans. But then what else have I got in the pipeline that would make the situation easier? Such as maybe, what if things got worse? Do we have a plan B as mothers, as parents, or ourselves being accountable to self? Do we have a plan B that we've really thought about? Sometimes we take things for granted, take long to react. By the time something happens, it's like, I could have done this earlier. I could have thought about it when there were signs that things were maybe going south or whatever it is that was happening. So for me, it was kind of like a light bulb moment that, okay, life happens. It might not be the way that I want, although within my personal space, it's been easier to navigate. But in terms of finding yourself in a society where there is kind of like turmoil, how do I deal with that? Going back to the drawing board and just honestly thinking about what ifs and facing those things and planning ahead, especially us women who ordinarily are people that would lead the way and take action. Have we really thought about the consequences of what could be, whether we have things turning out for the better or whether we have things turning out for the worse? It's like, have we really thought about? So I think it's time we start having those conversations, including what I said earlier, uncomfortable conversations about moral regeneration, the things that are we see a moral decay in our society, starting with our own families, communities where we can influence, and so on and so on. So that was my second nugget. I'll stop there before I continue if there are any questions.
Thank you for that. I see there are comments as well. I'm not seeing any questions. And then Francine said thank you. I just saw there was a comment from Nikki where she says, thank you for indeed we need to talk and share as women the challenges we are facing. And then Trudy says, we also need to find ways to decipher the events of the unrest for our kids. Remember, they didn't grow to experience the 1976 era, the 80s that were characterized by unrest. For them, this is new and they seek meaning. Thank you for that. I think even for me, that week, it just took me back in 1994 when I was doing matric. When there was busy conflict between the IFP and the ANC, and during that time I had to go to school, and I had that fear of saying, will I still be alive? Will I make it to school? When I come back, will my family be there as well? And normally when they go and bury one of theirs, I remember the IFP, they'll kill people on the road, and we missed bullets with my grandma. I don't know how we ducked and dived that day, but it just brought that fear and that trauma of what happened, and it wasn't a good week because I felt like I lost my freedom. I felt like I don't exist. It's like, how do I explain this to my kids? They won't even understand what is going through my head. They just think like mommy's mad, something has happened. But yeah, that week was a shake-up for all of us and for us who are older as well. And it just shows that we need to heal, we need to deal with those trauma and also come up with ways of how we verbalize and make it aware to our kids as well. Yeah, thank you for that. I see there's a hand from Melissa. You can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mashudu. Thank you for the opportunity. And thank you, Gugu, for this talk. Really appreciate it. I think, in all honesty, as one of the things that Gugu triggered when she was talking, I've had the honor and the privilege of having been led by you, Gugu, at some point in my life. And I don't think I would be where I am if she had not contributed in that space. And reason being, she was the type of woman, or is the type of woman, who will encourage you to own your space. You know, Gugu is the type that will not interfere in your space, but allows you to grow in your space, but also expose you. The question would be, if you bring something forward, are you sure about it? Is this the direction you want to take? Fine, I will trust you. And I think that empowers a young woman. And it's a style I took from her and another leader who came before her as well. Whereas, you know, I always say to people, I prefer female leaders, and my friends always argue that they prefer male. And my stance is, I've been lucky. I've had very good, strong, powerful female leaders. And when I came into Gugu's hands, I was a traumatized young woman. I'd been through a lot with male leaders, and landing in Gugu's hand was a salve. So it is very important, as we were talking earlier, it's very important for the female leaders to remain and keep their femininity. There's something we call inimba, yes, Xhosa. I'm not sure how to translate it, but it's something that women have. And we need to make sure that we don't let go of that, because I was letting go of mine, because it felt better to be a man in corporate. It was easier to behave like a man. But losing that femininity means corporate loses that side of you that was created to nurture and protect. And it's needed in corporate. at this point in time with COVID-19 and the riots having happened, etc., people are working from home. There are mental illnesses, there's overwork and a whole lot of things. You need that, I'll call it the feminine touch, and not in a and I don't know why people think it's derogatory when you say feminine touch. It's a positive thing. It's something that our male counterparts do not have. We need to have that female nurturing side present to understand people are losing wives, children, parents. And you need to have the ability to make decisions outside of policy, decisions for your team's well-being. And I have found that with female leadership, we do have that ability to look deep into a person and understand that that 2 days that you're giving them off leave is not sufficient. I will work around something to make sure that this person is fully recovered and fully functional when they return to work. So it's just one of those important things I wanted to bring up. Keep it and hold on to the female, the woman in you as a leader.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Wow, and it's an honor that to have someone providing feedback, and normally as human beings we are not good in providing feedback, and I believe it's well received by Gugu, and thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, we need to do something. We need to be leaders in our workspace and just embrace the goddess, because we are all goddesses that we are. Thank you. Francine says, you ladies are on fire. I love this. Melissa, she's saying thank you for sharing those nuggets and just appreciating Gugu as well. So you can go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Melissa, for that. I didn't know that I had that much influence, but also from what she said, it's good for me because the stuff that I'm going through right now, and to have somebody, that reassurance, I can go back knowing that that it works. So I won't lose my patience in terms of my current project. Thanks, Mills. I think the other things, just here and there, which I was thinking about, is that we should not ever forget about the decisions we took in our journey. Sometimes when we are under particular pressures, it's easy to give in because you are going through what you are going through. I also have my own testimony in terms of the past year. There's been months where I was not employed. There were opportunities where I thought, let me rather downgrade in terms of what I knew my goal, but because of the pressure and also whatever else, you start calculating and thinking, maybe I was too hard on myself when I took these decisions. But then what helped me was that I had to look back and just look at my journey and how in that process, people have just been there for me. It's my friends, it's my family, through support, a phone call, encouragement, through making sure that my children and I had something to eat and whatever else. Everybody just came through for us. So with that, it gave me kind of like an encouragement that whatever you're going through and the decisions that you took, they had to happen. Just don't forget why they had to happen so that you don't find yourself then questioning and doubting your steps that you have taken. And at the end of the day, everything comes together for the good. Here am I now, looking back, it's like, wow, okay, thank you. It really does come together for the good. I think I was listening to your very first recording with Mulalo, which was saying you are where you are supposed to be. So we should never forget that, because sometimes when you get a bit confused about, am I where I'm supposed to be? Yes, you are. But if you are gonna be listening to all the noise and forgetting why you took certain decisions, there might be things that are always ready to knock you off your course and discourage you, and also make you doubtful of your journey, which most of the time is very clear. It might not be clear to you, but like we always say, God's got you and he knows what's good for you. So yeah, that's my last of my nuggets.
Thank you so much. It just summarizes your quote of saying God's grace is sufficient to all of us, what you just mentioned. And thank you for that. And I remember when I had a chat with you, I asked you, when is the book coming? We need the book. We need to learn a lot from what you have went through. And it just shows us, yes, we are loved, we are protected, and we are cared for as well. And we also need to remember the why. Thank you so much for that. Let me just check if there are any questions. I don't see any questions, but I see we've got Sis Olivia who've joined in. Welcome. And anyone who just joining in, just ask questions. Or if you've got any contributions you want to make, do that. And I see there's a comment from Anati. She's saying, let me just read. It says, you're such a phenomenal woman, Gugu. I'm blessed to have met and interacted with you in various spaces. Thank you for your generosity in sharing these nuggets and your wisdom. Thank you so much. And yeah, Nikwe said thank you to Melissa for sharing. Thank you so much for this. And to those who are with me here on Zoom, any questions that you have? For me, it's just one. I think it's about being authentic. If somebody's asking, let's say someone hasn't done personal development, they haven't gone through understanding themselves, what is it when you say be authentic? What can they do?
Okay, I think it goes back to what I've said before in terms of fine-tuning your instincts. That is where it starts. It can also be the other way around. In terms of, you would have this thing pushing you to stand your ground when there are certain matters happening, or you are in a meeting, there would be that voice that is saying, but you are against this, and you say nothing about it. You would find yourself being challenged, facing moments where your values are being challenged and you are made to put your signature where it's not supposed to be, or supporting something that is against your own value system. To be authentic is to be able to say, this is not me, and walking away from it. It's not something that's easy. To be authentic, it's when you begin to say, I'm prepared to lose 1, 2, 3 for me to stand my ground. I'm prepared to be unpopular so that I can be confident in standing for what I believe in. So being authentic, it's that. It's not something, don't beat yourself up if you are not there yet, but make it an effort that you develop it. It can be through self-awareness, it can be through self-development, but also your instincts are always they are always sharp. Our instincts are always there to guide us, and that's God for me. And we ignore it, and we'll always tell a story to say, I had ignored this warning, but in hindsight, I remember now, but this has happened. I wish I had taken a step quicker, other than allowing things to go out of hand as I did, or fearing standing up for myself.
Thank you so much for that. Before I go to the hands which are raised, there's a comment from Nozibele. She's saying, great conversation, so much wisdom shared. Thank you, ladies. I'll go to Utuli. You can go ahead.
Hi, ladies. Thank you very much, Gugu, for such an inspiring conversation. Just to add my comments, observations, I just want to applaud all the ladies that are here this afternoon. And I want to just say, we need to normalize supporting each other. As women, we must always remember that we are excluded. We hardly get invited to go and play golf. We don't even go to the little boys' rooms with the guys, where I'm sure a lot of conversations do take place. So we need to be each other's support systems. Also, it's very important to realize that the boys' club is already full. So don't try to become one of the boys. So just be you. Just do you, because if you are Gugu, no one can ever beat Gugu. If you are Tuli, no one can ever beat Tuli. And I also want to say, I'm very encouraged, and I'm also making an assumption that there are a lot of young ladies on this group that are participating in this talk. So from my experience, what I would like to just share with all of you is to say, please invest in your education, because there will come a time at one point or another where you will be made to doubt yourself. You will actually be made to feel inferior. And you will even start questioning yourself to say, do I actually even deserve the spot that I'm actually occupying? Apart from the knowledge that, for instance, you will get when you study your degree, whether it's a bachelor's degree, honors, or an MBA, whatever it is, or a diploma, you will get that knowledge. But in addition, it will give you something that will validate you to say, if I am made to feel that I'm unworthy of this position, or if I'm made to feel stupid, how come I got my degree? How come an institution was able to confer this degree to me? No, they're talking a lot of bull. I actually deserve this space. Without the backing then of that education, when people throw those stones and those comments that make you feel shaken and unworthy, guess what? You will start believing them because you have not given yourself a backup. So your education becomes udondolo in Zulu, which is your walking stick that will give you support when everything else is against you, when all the chips are down. So well done, ladies. I applaud you. Thank you.
Thank you, Trudy. We're about to lose you. It was when you were ending, but we had the whole message. Thank you for that. And I see there's a comment from Anati. She also says, being authentic also somehow makes me think of knowing your boundaries. So knowing your boundaries is quite key as well. So that we've got another hand from Norma. Norma, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mashudu. Good afternoon, ladies. Gugu, I'm glad you invited me. I'm enjoying the talk. And I just want to share, ladies, with you that I met Gugu 3 years ago at church. And we discovered that we are from KZN, even though we are not from the same as town. I'm from Durban and she's from Pietermaritzburg. And I just want to mention that I was late for church one Sunday, and then I met Gugu and 2 other ladies. I actually explained to them about a colleague of mine who have an issue with me since I arrived here. I arrived at my workplace in 2013. But the info that they gave me on how to treat the situation actually made my life better at my workplace. I am just happy. I do myself, like Gugu has said, which I think, to be empathetic, is just great because you don't care about anyone else. So the advice she gave me with the other ladies is that just pray for that woman. And that's what I did. And I'm still praying. And I'm the happiest. And she is so sad with her life. Unfortunately, I can't help her because she doesn't realize that she's unhappy. However, I am still praying for her. Thank you so much, Gugu. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much for.
Naman.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and yeah, for being part of this conversation. And I'm so excited. And that there's a lot of us, and I know Tulu made a comment of saying I should trust that there are young people who are part of this. Yes, there are young people who are part of this, and this join the conversations are carrying on until the 31st of August. And there's another session tomorrow. Tomorrow it's a young person as well. And yeah, I'm excited to hear what she has to say. And then even on Monday, we've got 3 sessions, so it's a busy Monday for me. But I'm excited just to invest time so that we share the message and we empower. And then coming back from what Melissa said about Google, it just shows even that what you do, there's somebody who's learning from it and doing something and changing their lives. And everyone who has shared today, we appreciate. And to me as well, I would say I also met her from church, and my life has never been the same. I've been through a lot as well, and to say read this, do this, and I appreciate that. So it's like having an extended bigger sister in my life as well. So I appreciate that about you. So my next question, I see Miss Lerato says, proud of you, Mzala. Yes, we are proud of her. Let me just check. So my next question is, you have shared this message to us. Why is it so important to you? What is the takeaway from overall from what we have heard? Why did you come back this year and share with us with this message?
I think I've been really thinking about influencing in a bigger space, but also I realized that it's not a journey that I can do alone. I think last year I spoke a lot about sisterhood. I just feel that we've come to a time where we need to be there for each other, like Utuli said, but also not just supporting ourselves, but being examples to society, preaching out there about things that are concerning. Everybody would have something to say about the way things are going, but nobody is willing to be part of that conversation to say, but let's talk about stuff as society. Let's talk about things like young girls having children. By the time they are 24, they are a mother of 3. Because are they influenced by grant? Is it maybe the kind of society that we've allowed? We now have a society where abnormal things are normal, and nobody's willing to have those conversations. I do not know where to start myself, but if you bring it to a bigger group, Ilima, for instance, maybe we can have these solutions. We need to start these conversations. They are not comfortable. People, we might even be blamed because most of the people that are here, would be people that kind of like things are okay in their life. You have children that have finished varsity, children that are taking every step as it should. You don't have teenage pregnancies and so on. But we also had teenage pregnancies. Most of us have had, I'm 50, I have a 28-year-old. Some of my friends have got 30-something-year-olds, but we succeeded? What is it that our parents did that is different to what this generation of parents is doing for kids to just lose hope like that? So yeah, there are important issues for me, but I don't think I have solutions either. I would like us to have another conversation as a group of women from all walks of life to really talk about these uncomfortable issues. Otherwise, we will be sitting here 10 years, 20 years from now with a population that has doubled. And yet we never spoke about these things, and poverty worse than it was ever been, worse than it was ever before. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And I just summarize and say that where there's a will, there's a way. In how we grew up, we don't know how our parents did it. And to us, it's so challenging. Even me having a 16-year-old and an 11-year-old, at times I went like, am I doing it right? What else do I need to do? So yeah, and I love the fact about having another conversation. So I think we can talk about it and see and bring more women, because we are the solutions to our problems. Because as individuals, we are here for a purpose. We are here to solve different problems, and people might judge themselves for depending on how they measure themselves against other people, but everyone here has got a problem to solve so that we can add value, we can create change into humanity and create the foundation. As much as the abnormal life which has become normal to our kids, to them is normal. And then they'll be asking us, why do you say this is abnormal? It's having those conversations and creating enlightenment so that they don't go through that way. History doesn't repeat itself, because we want growth. Because if we are not evolving, we are dying. So we need to create that change and that transformation. Thank you so much. And I see Norma as well says, she forgot to mention that she didn't believe that you were unemployed for a few months and you were so bubbly. Yeah, many people didn't believe that. Yeah, and you did it with grace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And then, yeah, there's no question here. Any questions from anyone? As we wrap up, this has been, as much as we said it's going to be short, but your contributions, because this is about conversations, not about limiting, it's about planting seeds, it's about talking about the uncomfortable, which Gugu has been talking about, that we need to start talking about the moral degeneration, the uncomfortable discussion. So it's time now. Yeah, we shouldn't waste this precious time that we have. And we've seen with COVID that people are losing their lives every day, and it reminds us to be fully present wherever we are. It reminds us to connect, to mend the relationships that we have, and to pray for those who persecute us, who are not happy. You might find that your prayer is the one that they need just to transform their lives and just create that seed of their journey to healing. And I see, let me go to the comments as well. Tuli says, we actually need to break the mold and not glamorize things that we shouldn't glamorize. For instance, I had a teenage pregnancy, but hell no, it wasn't going to happen up my kids. I almost want to strangle someone asking why 27-year-old doesn't have a child. Yes, it's those things that we need to start questioning. And then Miss Lerato M says, it's how you choose to align yourself with what you want. Gugu and I met through moments while she was unemployed, but our conversations were more about support and having open conversations. Being authentic and choosing a positive mindset is also key. I'm happy to have these conversations, and it's one of the reasons why I started Soul Dove. I don't know what is that. You'll tell us what it is. You can unmute yourself. And some of the issues I want to channel is this very topic. Ms. Lerato, can you unmute yourself and just expand on your comment?
Soul Diva.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. So I'm not going to put my video on because I look horrendous. Basically, Soul Diva, it's spelled the way you say it. And when I started the organization, it was more to empower women and have these icky conversations. My son just turned 19 this year, and that was the very age that I had him. And it was a trigger. It was a trigger in realizing that there was no one to talk to about it. And what I went through all the time, no one understood. And here I am now, 19 years later. And he's standing and he's a young man and he's with no child, which was like, okay, clearly you did something right, but there's no conversations. So it's things like that that reign at the back of my mind, is how many other women go through that. It's unspoken conversations that we don't even have with our own parents. It's like we're living in silos because it's so taboo. Instead, there's this narcissistic treatment from society of, when you had a child when you were a teenager, you basically end up not having support. There's always the negative, and you always have to look for the positive. And I guess that's what kept me going. So when I started Soul Diva, it was around gender-based violence. It was around building queendoms. It was around having conversations about uncomfortable things. And it was also more of, there's two other big things that I want to do through the organization. And I kind of parked it over the past year because of COVID and other reasons. And yesterday, funny enough, I was actually thinking of, how do I now restart this thing and get it off the ground? It's registered, it's there, it exists. But now how do I go? And here God plants a how. I've always believed that you plant a seed and you don't have to keep wondering about how it's going to happen. The how just comes. And here I am. I almost forgot to even log on because I was in a conference the whole day yesterday, and I completely forgot when Gugu sent me the link this morning. And I looked at the time and I almost forgot. So thank you for this conversation. It's just reignited the passion that I have around this, around empowering young people, around empowering people. And I remember when I started Soul Diva was the year that I lost my job. So it's also quite like a aha moment that, okay, it's now 5 years old. I've been doing small things where I can, in the little way that I can. I'm not yet back in the corporate environment. I freelance. I coach here and there. It's just by God's grace. And sometimes your passion has to find you when you at your lowest. And that's why I say being authentic and choosing a positive mindset is key. Because if you dwell on the negative, you can never wake up and take the next foot forward, you know. And one of the conscious decisions I made was, I'm not listening to radio anymore. I'm not listening to the news anymore. And that was the biggest life changer for me, because it helped reshape my mind in terms of the things that I really want and things that I want to be aligned to, and how I want to carry my emotional mindset and how I want to build my mindset. So it's things like that we do in our own spaces that we don't share, of how do you choose a positive mindset? How do you get from A to B? How do you get out of bed, you know, when you're facing depression? How do you deal with a teenage pregnancy? How do you raise your kids? How are you feeling? Where's that space? You know, so that's kind of what I can expand on.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lerato M. Before you go, there are young people listening to you. I see their comments on Facebook. How do we get hold of you? How does one learn about Soul Diva? So you can...
Yeah, they can just direct message me on Facebook. I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I am on Twitter. Miss Lerato M is my handle everywhere. And then Soul Diva, there is a Facebook page and there is a Instagram page. So basically, you can even access me via email at lerato@missleratom.co.za. Yeah, so Miss Lerato M, basically, wherever you just Miss Lerato M, you'll find me.
Okay, can you also type it on the comments? I'll type it when I'm done with this. I'll also put
Okay,
it on the YouTube link as well that we're going to create. And there's a comment as well for everyone. It's from Umpemba Sompis. It says, this is very uplifting and resonates with me as Zwane. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you've got any questions before we wrap up, just ask them. And please share this conversation. And you might find that it's going to uplift someone. It's just going to be that seed that we've been talking about, that we need to plant and change somebody's life. Because at times when you're going through, you never realize the power that you have to change the situations that you're in. And thank you so much.
Hi.
Okay.
I've lifted the hand. I'm new with this. It's so nice to listen to you, ladies. I can listen to you for the whole day. You sound so professional, all of you. I've been eminent, I guess, Zulu, and from 2015. So you lose touch with how people should speak. So it is so nice. Thanks again. I sent my message. I don't know whether I didn't send it because I don't see you reading it. But anyway, all what I was actually saying, I was thanking Gugu for the invite. And obviously saying that I'm very well nourished with what I'm getting, because I've been in a desert for a long time. I haven't been employed since 2015, but I decided to get into business, but it hasn't really been easy. It doesn't work as neatly as it should be. What you guys are saying that you face, I faced in the corporate, but you also face it when you do your own business and you get into some places. If you're a woman, you have to be a certain way, you have to perform in a certain way. And when they find that you know other things that they don't really expect women to be like having, or women who to be knowing, they start questioning you're being a woman. I don't know whether that makes sense, because every time when I went to some different departments, some different areas, I always found fighting myself and finding in a spot to say, this is what I can do and this is what I can achieve without you asking me for something else. Because of what Gugu was saying, I can't remember what. I went through some stuff, ladies, but I'm recovering. So rebuilding my memory stability. And now that I can even remember that Goku said something about how your authenticity, how you can turn down, or how you can decide on whether you can put your signature here or not, even if you don't really have any plan B, even if you don't have anything else that you're going to walk to. You decide when that's a sixth sense, and that is God for me as well, Goku. I believe in that. That's how I've been living for the past 6 years, and I'm still struggling. And Gogo is one of the, the few friends. Actually, I also don't want to say, I've never said this to her. She calls me Mamko, as I'm Kopozi, but she's more than that. In fact, I can't even say she's a sister, because I do have a sister, but I run to Gogo quicker than I can run to my sister. I'm not trying to open my closet, but sometimes there are those relationships, because I was always kind of too much in my family, too much being that I go for things that I don't know. No, not too many women will go for things that, oh, but why would you go there? Because you already have your qualification. Why aren't you getting paid and every month and all that, instead of going and and when you go for something that's new and it doesn't work out the way that you thought it was or you expected to, it's almost like the whole world is just sitting back and saying, yeah, buwenzani, angazi noma nonke nasanesiZulu. Buwenzani, what were you doing? Because you already had your qualification, already had experience, already had this. Why were we going there? And it affects you in a way. But people like her, like Gugu, have kept me going. I'm still standing. I'm not back in the corporate. I hope I don't go back to the corporate. There's nothing wrong with the corporate, but I spent enough years in corporate. Now I need to take the experience and everything that I went through and put in the business, not even to make money for my family or build my legacy, just to grow, to nourish, to build up all the small businesses, especially in the food division. I am a food technologist, food scientist, food whatever, quality assurance, whatever. But I can see a lot of businesses that are actually out there that just need a hand. I need to get up myself, and so that I can just start helping those people, opening centers where they can get help. But if they're women, men do get a chance. If they're women, they don't get to be given that opportunity, and that is so sad. But thank you again. Thanks. I hope I'll be invited in the next one day again, maybe when my mind is together, because my memory is really is getting there. Even my vocabulary was bad. I had to start learning from scratch, like from ah sentence. My son and this other lady was helping me, and it's by the grace of God that in a year's time my vocabulary has come together. Gugu knows that too, and uNkulunkulu, that is how he is. Omunye uthi mayingakholwa athi ubekuyekeleni ekuqaleni. Why did he leave you to fall into that? For you now to say uNkulunkulu sethe. Mina, I believe in how he allowed those things to happen, and now I have learned even more. I'm not young. I'm over 50. I'm going to be 53 this year, but I look younger than that. Sorry, I had to say that. Not that it matters, but I believe that I'm not angry with God, or say after I built everything that I built and I lost everything. Mangis, I lost everything. The house that I live in, it is because I paid for it. I decided when I was moving from Unilever to Woolworths, I thought, you know what, let me just buy a property. It doesn't matter what kind of property. And I didn't know that one day, and it goes back to the sixth sense, because I could have just sold this house. I could have just done whatever, but that sense that you listen to, that sometimes you just decide to walk away, or turn your blind eye or blind ear if there's anything like that. You must listen to that. And now everything that I didn't do then that I could have done, I can see why I didn't do. Because if that didn't happen, I would have been on the streets, because I would have nothing. Because when you lose everything, somebody said something about having depression. Hey, I haven't had that. I haven't had a salary for the past 6 years. I have tried business. They've tried to steal it from me 3 times. I almost signed so many times. There's been so many things. So here I am. I'm saying again as the last point, as a woman, whether you are in corporate, you are employed or not, you always have to almost check around, make sure that nobody is trying to attack you. Not that you have to be paranoid, but because people will always find a soft spot that they can just hit, or stick a sharp equipment, so that uzo feel like weak, because they can't stand the women that we have become. Because the women that we have become are not like our mothers, or some of our mothers, where the mother was known that they're going to be a nurse, they're going to be a teacher. Not that I don't take anything away from those people. If you wanted to do something else, and if you stand in front of all the Tiger Brands men, you see the ears getting pink because they're angry at you. What are you saying? And there's nothing wrong. It's not something else you've done wrong. It is just because you are a woman. But thank you, ladies. I wish I could just be around women like yourself, because I'm rebuilding, I'm regrowing myself. But at least I've got to cook. And I know where to go when things get bad. I just pick up the phone and get to cook. Gabong. Thank you.
Nathi siyabonga usizandi, and there was a comment, would you please tell us what is your business, and also if you can type your, where we can reach out to you, your social media handles, or you can send them. If you're still having challenges with my Zoom, ungawasendela uSis Gugu, she can send them to me, then I'll
Can you see my message? Can you see my message on
I saw it, and I apologize that I didn't read it, and I'm glad that you spoke about it as well.
Oh no, I thought maybe there's something wrong that I've done, because like I said, it's my first Zoom meeting, and I thought maybe you couldn't see it on that side. So I can quickly just maybe in summary, I currently make sauces. I'm not a sauces business, but currently I make killer sauces. Sauces that, I don't know, like you can use for fry, marinade, dips, cook with them, everything. And the reason, the concept behind it, and somebody would say, why sauces? Because there's so many sauces everywhere. Here is the concept behind that. I worked for Robertson's before they merged with Unilever a long time ago, in the 80s. Huh? Yo, I'm that old. Anyway, so the sauces in the markets, I can see now it's changing slowly. You will buy a marinade, you will buy a dip, you will buy something that you cook with. You will, and most of the time you will have to use more than 3 or 4 sauces to make whatever. So the concept behind this is to have a sauce that that can be used as whatever else, and without making your food taste the same. That is, if you're cooking chicken, and if you're cooking a beef, if you're cooking whatever. That's number one. But number two, this is one step, because I only got started with the sauces. I only developed 3 sauces, and the mild, a hot, and extra hot of it. But it was just the beginning. So later on, the plan was to have, even the specific marinades, like the sticky rib marinades, you can't really use as something else. It's specific. So your marinades that are specific, that were asked by the customers. So my thought, when I was for 30 years in the food industry, 30 years. So I know that the customers can tell you as a producer what they want, instead of you producing and expecting them to like what you've decided to produce for them, not unless it comes out very cheap. So my sauces are not cheap. They are not too expensive as well. They are homemade. They have mainly like real authentic ingredients. When I say authentic, I try to move away from artificial as possible. So when you decide that you go for that particular range, I don't want to say Woolworths, because people always think that Woolworths is, I've worked for Woolworths, and I'm not trying to bash them down or anything. Woolworths goes to small companies, and they groom them. They make sure that they implement all the systems that they want their products to be made around, and they make sure that you produce according to those principles, and somebody else can do the same thing. So what happens is, when you go to somebody and then they produce that product, it is consistency, and that is what I'm hoping, I'm trying to get. And I'm not looking for something big. So it's sauces currently, but there will be marinades, there will be seasonings later, there will be dressings, but customers will have to tell me what else they want. And I'm not a marketing person, but I will put it on the Zoom message as well. It's I don't know whether it actually makes sense. It's 3 sources currently, but there will be more before, later, sorry. Thank you.
I was on mute. I was just saying thank you. It makes sense. I see there are a few comments for you. One from Facebook. Unos Vele says, "Oh, Sizandi, what a touching testimony. God certainly restores, and all your needs will always be provided. Do not be shaken. Keep the faith." And then there's another one here which says, "Epumabunoma. Wow, Mam Gobos, the Lord is my shepherd." It's so great to hear such wonderful testimonies about Gugu. And then Gugu says she'll share your pictures on Facebook, and Lerato wants to connect with you. And what I'm loving about this discussion, as much as it was about Kuluma no Gugu, is like we're connecting and we're just creating synergies. We're planting seeds, and
Thank you.
everyone who's meant to be here, they're receiving what they need to hear today. And thank you so much. And Melissa, there's a hand from you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mashuri. I've been putting it up and down and not sure if I should really bring it in. I think this is a very important conversation. And I would like I've picked up a lot of pain coming out of this conversation. And I really think that we need to get to a space where we come together so that we take that pain and we turn it into power. So we do need time with, generally as people, you need time with like-minded people. And I think we needed this time with like-minded women with aligned values, aligned ambition to grow, aligned passion for community, social and economic development, you know. So I think I would suggest that there is this time that we are having the conversations with, but I think that, and it's just a suggestion, that we could have an informal platform where people really get to pour out, because I've heard a lot of people pouring out. I've heard a lot of people share about their business. I've heard a lot of people, etc. So whether it's we start off, maybe I'm new here, it's my first time, just listen to me, going on as if I've been around forever, with that 45-minute, 1 hour conversation, and then post the conversation, we release the people who need to be released, and the people who want to mingle and share and have conversation and share business ideas then remain afterwards and have that type of conversation. So you kind of have your conversation time, then you have your heart to heart and your marketing session. I'm in the communication and marketing space as well. So we're able to share and assist people who say, listen, business this, business that, etc. So that's what I'm liking about this. I think a lot of us who are on this platform actually need a tribe of like-minded women who want to grow, whether it's in corporate, in their business, strongly so, but with deeply rooted foundations in values and faith and belief. It's difficult to find women like that in corporate. Believe me, I ran Googles on Christian executives and Christian, you're trying to find groups of people, because, and no offense, most of my church friends, it's always about, you will pray about it, the Lord will leave you, whatever, but there's also the work that needs to happen. So we need to grow, we need to read, we need to explore. So I would like to just suggest that, I think most of us know Gugu, and yourself, Coach Mushudu, that some kind of free flow platform where these hearts can really be poured out and ideas can be shared, and even where people can just break away. I've found I'm doing something called the Executive Development Program with the University of Stellenbosch Business School, that those one-on-one breakaway sessions, peer coaching sessions, help a lot, because you get to sit and talk and share and advise each other. So something like that would really assist in driving this further.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I think the three things that I'm taking from you is that we need to carry on with the conversations and also have heart to heart and also have conversation when we talk about marketing. We'll explore them, so I'll be in touch, Nuku, and yourself and everyone who's here. So this is not the end. We had to be here today on this amazing Saturday, and I'm excited about what has come out. Is beyond what I expected. And thank you guys for just being honest and being vulnerable, and just the vulnerability for those who will be listening. It will just create that healing that they need, because most people, we are always putting a mask and we try to be perfect, and when you start being vulnerable, you start that healing process. So we'll take that further as well. And as well, at 5, I've got a session. It comes back to what we're talking about, Melissa, about depression. On my timeline, I've been seeing people talking about depression. They are feeling like this. So I'm running a session at 5 p.m. where it's a free session. It will be on Zoom, but it won't be live on Facebook. I'll just record it on YouTube for anyone who needs who's gonna miss out. Where I'll be expanding on what is depression, what is anxiety, providing tools, understanding their mindset, and understanding the root cause, and also providing techniques that they can use, like breathing techniques. So I'll be doing breathing techniques with those who will be attending as well. So it's at 5, so that is something that I'm doing on my part as well. So yeah, so I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about what has been discussed. And to everyone who has just tuned in, really today I never thought it would be like this, and I'm enjoying these conversations. And yeah, so, and I'm loving the network, and I see there's a comment from Olerato. She wants to assist Sandy with marketing. So already
Yay,
I'm just speaking out, and that is something
yay,
that we,
yay.
so
Ah,
that, yes, 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 yeah.
Okay.
So that is something that we are scared of, just to reach out and ask for help. So we really need to ask for help, and help will show itself. So let's continue. Let's be vulnerable and just continue asking, because everyone has got a different gift. Everyone has got a different purpose, and we need to let go of the judgment of ourselves, of the judgment of others, and just need to be authentic and know that God is always with us. He's always providing for our needs, and we shouldn't try to control everything and start being Jesus. We are all provided for, so we need to remove those masks, the superwoman, the super everything, all the names that we give ourselves, because we're losing out on the greatness that has been provided to us by God, the universe, and everyone else. Yeah, so let me see before I end. Thank you so much. Amen. Yes. Anything else before I close off? I don't even want to close off. It's like, wow, I can continue this whole afternoon. I'm blessed.
I,
Yeah.
I thought, I really thought this would be shorter than last year. We did 46 minutes. I'm like, wow, we are like an hour plus.
Wow.
No, I've learned a lot as well from the conversation. I'm happy that I had a shorter preparation in terms of what I was going to say, because it has allowed other people to come in as well. No, thank you very much. I've got Wakile here. We have an appointment, so I'm good. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. And to everyone who has tuned in on Facebook, on YouTube, if you've got further comments and you want to collaborate, you want to be part of this, and every message has resonated with you, do reach out. And yeah, we'll continue the conversation. So this is the month to heal, it's the month to provide reawakening, plant seed, and reflect and rebirth. And tomorrow, do join me as well. Tomorrow, I've got another session at 3 with Sipesihle. So we'll hear what message she has, and also on Monday. So we've got 3 sessions. So these conversations, they are happening. People are healed, seeds are being planted. And if you want to participate, do let me know. And remember, you don't have to wait for me. Do this wherever you are. It's not about me. It's about creating the change that the world needs, because we are the ones, our government won't solve our problems. We are the government, we need to solve our problems so that we can create a future and a foundation for our kids. Thank you so much. And like and share this post, and like and subscribe to my YouTube, guys. It's Mashudu Mbele as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ntieni. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Till the next time as the conversations continue. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.